Welcome back to the BJJ Fanatics podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ford. My guest today is a 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's a veteran of EBI, Onnit Invitational, Metamoris, the Kakuto Submission Challenge, Kasai Pro, 5 Super League, Fight to Win, Zapatero, and Quintet 2. A very active competitor. He's the first ever EBI welterweight combat jiu-jitsu champion. He's also a former MMA fighter and a Tough Enough MMA champion. And nowadays he's a very respected instructor, teaching out of his own academy, 10th Planet Freaks in San Diego, California. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be joined today for the third time in my podcasting career by an old friend of mine, Richie Boogeyman Martinez. How are you today, Boogie?
I'm doing great, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm great.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, man. I'm happy to have you back. It's going to be cool to catch up with you, man.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Dude, the last time I interviewed you, I had to go back in the archives and see when it was. It was 2018 we talked last, so it's been a minute.
Wow.
So yeah, dude,
it has been a minute.
Yeah. So, dude, update us, man. What have you been up to since then?
Man, honestly, I've been competing a lot. I've been coaching a lot, you know, anywhere from UFC fighters, Bellator fighters to combat jiu-jitsu to man, every tournament you could really think of right now, you know, saying the ADCC, and just goes on and goes on. And yeah, man, that's basically been my life lately, just training, competing, and being a dad now, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's I guess a new thing in my life. Became a father 2 years ago, so that's been very, very fun and entertaining as well.
That's incredible. Congratulations on that, man. That's something. That's actually an update that both you and I have since we've talked last. Yeah, we both had kids since.
Congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's a trip, man. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, that's super cool, dude. I'm really happy that everything's going so well. And dude, it's been cool seeing also like the 10th Planet Freaks, man. You guys are really blowing up. You had Keith Krikorian show out at ADCC. You guys are you're killing it, man. You guys are doing seminars all over.
Sure.
Super cool to see you guys bring your flavor worldwide like that, man.
This year's very, very busy. We have a lot of MMA fights as well coming up. You know, saying a bunch of amateurs and you guys coming up from my team. Also, a bunch of the new guys, or not new guys, but a bunch of the guys been doing the ADCC Opens, which been very, very helpful to be able to establish ourselves in that ADCC rule set. You know what I'm saying? Being able to understand the rule set a little bit better, and just practicing the rule set overall, I feel has been very, very helpful. And you know, I feel for this year East Coast trials, and of course next year's West Coast trials, I think we're gonna do very well just because of all the opens opening up and stuff all over the world, basically. And yeah, it's been very, very fun to be able to train and go over these rule sets on the regular.
Incredible. That's so cool, dude. Well, man, you know, Richie, I mention you and Gio on the show occasionally when the subject of using outside influence in jiu-jitsu comes up, due to your background in breakdancing. I always find it really interesting to see how people take other sports or arts and apply it to their development in jiu-jitsu. And, you know, breakdancing is a cool one because it's such a creative art. So the topic I wanted to explore with you today is applying creativity to jiu-jitsu. So let me start by asking you, man, how did you get started in being a b-boy?
You know, breakdancing was kind of like a funny story how we got into it. Realistically, like one of my next door neighbors, he was one of our best friends growing up and stuff like that, but we were young, and he would go to the OC to Orange County for the summers, and he had older cousins and stuff, and one day he came back and he knew a breakdancing move, so he was doing it just to like show off in front of girls, in front of friends, or just kind of like a party favor type of thing, you know. And And it was kind of like annoying in a way. Like, we're like, fuck this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was our friend, but he wanted all the attention. And we're like, damn it. So what we did was we started looking at like music videos. Of course, this is when like BT and MTV had music videos, of course, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking at it. Every once in a while, you would catch a little glimpse of breakdancing. So we would like record it on our VHA tapes, which most people probably don't even know what that is. So we recorded on VHS, and then we would go back and practice the same move over and over, and we didn't even know what we were doing, but we're just like coming up with the way we thought you were supposed to practice it. And then we would do it, and then when he would do his thing, we would go and we'd try to like show him up now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it became kind of like a competitive thing, like without even knowing we're really battling to like be better or show off better, I guess, but when you're that age, we love being the center of attention, especially breakdancing. That's what you do. You want to be in the middle. You want everybody to be shamed for you, and you want to be the center of attention. You want to be the best guy on that dance floor and or on the floor in general, right? And so we kept on doing that, and he would then get a move, and then we back and forth, and before we knew it, we were like actually getting pretty good at it, and yeah, we actually became dancers because we wanted to show our friend up. Really, like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just one of those things. It's like we live in apartments, and it's like you just kind of like doing things to like enjoy yourself and have fun and just kind of pass time, with your next door neighbors and stuff like that. And it definitely created a good bond. And you know what I'm saying, they also became dancers and part of our crew and stuff like that. So it's like it was very cool, and it was just a weird way to come up, but a fun way to come up as well.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. You know what I love about that story, man, is that it really does show that it's all creativity based, which is really interesting, because like a lot of people, they might go to like a formal class to learn how to break dance. They might go to they might sign up somewhere and take classes or something, kind of learn the basics. I love that you guys, it was very grassroots. It was just very, it was in your neighborhood. You guys were trying to go back and forth with one of your friends, and that just led you to the path that you were on. It's all just completely organic and creativity based, and
for sure.
Yeah, and I know that, something important in breakdancing is originality and keeping your moves and your style fresh. But, also the goal for B-Boys is to push the envelope and come up with new things that are, that are new and set new trends within the art. And you can see how well that correlates between jiu-jitsu. Like, we're always on the hunt for new adaptations on the mats and new variables to use against our opponents. How much do you think that mindset that you had coming up that way, of being creative in that way, helped you in your development in jiu-jitsu?
It definitely helped us be open-minded and just welcome all moves and everything that we thought could be integrated into our jiu-jitsu. It didn't matter if it's from the gi or wrestling or zombo or anything. If we felt that it was like something that we could use, we would implement it into our jiu-jitsu and kind of make it our own. It's like kind of transfer it from like gi to no gi. That was kind of like fun, like watching some gi like matches, and we're like, oh, that looked dope. How can we make that into no gi? You know what I'm saying? Like so it was like trying to kind of like evolve that sense. It's like there's so much moves that already like created in jiu-jitsu. Like jiu-jitsu goes a long way, but it's like, how do you enter those moves? You know what I'm saying? Like that was the tough part. It's like, how do you transform them into a more explosive move, or into just kind of our style, and it's like that was something that was very, very fun and easy to do at the same time, because it's like we already been doing that. We did that for so long that it was just natural for us to do. And yeah, man, like literally like coming up, even till this day, man, like we're still trying to do that. Like I'm constantly searching for new techniques and new transitions to be able to adapt into my style so I could make my style stronger, So even till this day, man, I'm constantly doing that, and I'm constantly looking for paying attention to what's happening, and not just in jiu-jitsu, but in wrestling and all the martial arts as well.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Well, I can see, like, specifically with the biomechanical movements of breakdancing, how it translates so well to guard play, for example. Like, man, I mean, if you can invert and spin and cut angles and support your weight, in various ways that you would in breakdancing, that obviously translates tremendously well to playing guard. So
100%.
Did you feel that was the first aspect of your jiu-jitsu that really started developing quickly?
Yeah, 100%, man. Especially like for me, like just being a guard player was natural. That was the easiest thing that I could do for my jiu-jitsu. Like I'm like, man, I'm comfortable here. This is fun, But there was a time that I kind of didn't believe in what I was doing. And that was in the beginning though. As a white belt, you're just kind of competitions are not going the way you want to and stuff like that. So you're just kind of is this even for me? You know what I'm saying? Especially being from a background of being at the top level, I felt that I was already I should have already been good. You know, I'm like, man, I've been competing at a top level for so long, and now I'm going into this new thing, and I'm like at the lowest tier. So that was definitely like a frustrating time in my jiu-jitsu. And to be honest, for most people, sorry about that. For most people, like you know, that beginning part is the most frustrating part. Is the one that's gonna make you or break you. You know, it's like you're gonna know if you're gonna stick with it or not. And for me, it definitely was that. It wasn't like, you know, sunshine and flowers, you know, saying right off the bat. Like, it's like there was a struggle into getting into it and understanding how to deal with the ups and downs of a new sport. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're at the lowest tier now, so it's like you have to start from scratch. And I'm not talking about movements, but I'm talking about just in general competitions, you know, saying mindsets, you know, saying believing in yourself, you know, believing in moves, you know, because I'm already established myself as a dancer. So I already knew like what I could accomplish. I already knew where I had to be at, you know what I'm saying? Now in jiu-jitsu, it's like, I don't even know where I need to be. I don't know how my movements should be. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's basically starting from scratch, not just skill wise, not just move wise, but everything. So it was definitely tough in that sense.
Yeah. What do you think you struggled with the most? What aspect of jiu-jitsu in those days were the absolute hardest for you? Was it the competition, the mindset? What was it exactly?
Competition and the mindset for sure. You know, like as a white belt, I won 0 matches. You know, like I won no matches whatsoever. Lost every match first round. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like every tournament first round, boom. And I competed a lot. Like, I mean, I started competing like 3 weeks into my jiu-jitsu, and I was like, fuck it, let's go. You know, if you're gonna go, let's go. And you know, maybe that wasn't always that wasn't the best situation that I could have done. Maybe I should have like studied the game a little bit more and just kind of like made myself better. But I was already doing pretty good at the gym, so it gave me some sort of confidence, but it was like a fake confidence in a sense, you know, because nobody's trying to be the best at the gym. Nobody's trying to be like, I'm the best at the gym. You know, I mean, if you are, you're probably doing it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you're there to learn. You're there to learn. You're there to work new things. You're there to understand what movements work, your timing. You know what I'm saying? You're there to work, to learn. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like for me, I was like, oh man, I'm tapping everybody out. I'm doing great in the gym. You know what I'm saying? So I should be doing great in competition. What's going on? So that was definitely hard to understand, but that was a white belt mentality, you know what I'm saying? But that almost broke me. That literally almost took me to a side that I was like, I don't want to do this. It's not for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to suck at something. I'm already good at something. So why am I doing this to myself? Like, it was frustrating, but at the end of the day, I felt that was a very good learning experience, you know, until I got my blue belt. Then it kind of changed everything. You know, I went from never winning a match to winning every tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like not losing as blue belt, you know what I'm saying? Going strong as a purple belt, and then finally like really like handing my real first loss, like that I felt was a real loss when I became a brown belt, you know? So
That's incredible. I love hearing stories like this, especially from people as accomplished as you, man, because I think a lot of people that go through jiu-jitsu, I mean, dude, there's a difference between learning jiu-jitsu and then learning how to compete. I mean, it really is it's two separate arts within the art, you know? And so I think a lot of people that go out there on the competition mats for the first time, you're going to stumble for sure. I mean, I was very much like you. I didn't win a single match till like late into my blue belt. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to like spend the money and to take the time to go and show up, and you're there in front of people, and it's a bitter pill to swallow when you don't win or perform as well as you feel that you do in the training room. So it's great to hear that people even at the highest levels experience that. What do you think was the turning point? What clicked for you when you were a blue belt that made you start winning?
I feel that it made me realize that there was more people that believed in me other than myself, because I was like it kind of like somebody gave me a belt, so I'm like, man, this is not just about me, it's about the team that's behind me. It's about, like, you know what I'm saying, like, it gave me a better mindset. It's like I'm not there alone, you know, even though I never felt I was, but it gave me kind of like a confidence, like somebody else believes in me, somebody believes that I should be at this level. So it's like, give them the love that they deserve, like perform the way you should be performing, because it's not just you that believes in you, it's somebody else believes in you. So you know what I'm saying, do it for them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about you. And that kind of gave me the mindset that I have now. And it's like, it's everybody always thinks it's a self person sport, but for me, it's a team sport, man. It's like those are the people that are helping you build up to be able to be in the podium. You know, not everybody's meant to be a competitor. And that's facts. Not everybody's meant to be a competitor, and it's okay, right? But everybody should do jiu-jitsu. even if you're not a competitor. You know, there's a place for everybody. You know, I know guys in my gym that are better than the guys that compete, but they just can't compete. It's not in them. You know what I'm saying? But I feel that you know, there's a place for everybody in jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's meant to compete. Whether you want to be a world champion or not, like there's always a place in a team for somebody to be able to train. And that's what I feel that a lot of people are missing. Like a lot of people don't feel that it's like, well, I'm not a competitor. Why should I push myself to the next level? It's like, because like I said, it's a team sport, and it's like you have a place, right? Like you have a quarterback, you have you have the running back, you have the wide receivers. They all play a part. You have the line, you know, everybody plays a part in the team, you know what I'm saying? And I feel for jiu-jitsu is the same thing, you know what I'm saying? You have the guys that are going to help you get better, that are going to push you to that next level. You have the guys that you're able to kind of do moves, you know what I'm saying, do stuff on. And you have the guys that are competing at the top level. All those guys have different roles. You know what I'm saying? You have to coach as well, you know what I'm saying? And it's like they all have different roles, but it's like you have to understand your role sometimes. It's like, yo, I just got to show up to just be there for everybody. And I forgot, at first, I didn't know that. At first, I was like, well, I'm a competitor. I'm doing my thing, and I got to be the best. And it's like, no, but you got to keep on helping even the guys that are not getting to that next level, even the guys that are not competing at the highest level, right? Like, you have to help them grow so they could help you grow as well, you know? And it's like, and me understanding that made me become a better teammate, a better training partner, and made me become a better competitor as well, because now I'm pushing the guys that are not competitors that are going to help me get better to get to that next level. And me understanding that, honestly, like helped my jiu-jitsu so much in many ways. And it helped me become a better competitor because I pushed the guys that weren't competing to push me be a better competitor, if that makes sense.
It does. That's awesome. Yeah, it's a great emphasis on the ecosystem of jiu-jitsu, kind of the ecosystem that exists in a gym. You're absolutely right, man. Like everybody plays a vital role. You know, and there's something really cool that you said earlier, Richie, that I wanted to zoom in on. You mentioned that because you were so good at breakdancing and you were going through the initial hardships of being a white belt in jiu-jitsu, you asked yourself the question, why do this if I suck at it? Like, what's the point? And if I'm really good at something else and I'm not good at this, why am I doing this? What, in your opinion, is the value of pursuing something that's difficult and that you're bad at? Like, what's the value of getting out of your comfort zone and forcing yourself to do something you're not good at?
You know, like for me, like being and making it so hard for me to be a competitor and making it so hard for me to understand certain situations, that's the reason why I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was easy, I wouldn't have stuck around, I don't think, you know, like it's like you kind of, you're like, well, I already hit the top, so why am I here for? You know what I'm saying? But it's like challenging yourself, being able to push yourself to the next level in many different things, you know. To be honest, I hate sucking at something. Like I hate sucking at things, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the worst thing for me. Sucking at something is like the worst thing for me. So me being able to grow from this and you know, becoming better, I don't think I'm like, I think there's still a lot of room for me to grow, right? Like I feel everybody should feel that way. Like if you think that you're like the best or you're done, like dude, it's gonna make you not grow anymore. I feel I still have a lot of ways to improve myself, you know. And I'm like, there's certain things that I'm like, I'm not that good at that move, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what keeps on pushing me. So sucking at something kind of motivates me to become better, even though like it's sometimes you're like, fuck, I don't want to do that move. I suck at it. Like why should I keep on doing it? Like that motivates me to get better at it, right? Like it's like everybody thinks I was like this natural at rubber guard. The reason why I'm good at rubber guard is because I fucking sucked at it at first. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I didn't understand the concept. I was just throwing my leg over, and people were pulling their arms out, and I fucking sucked at it so bad that I'm like, oh, I got to become good at this. And honestly, I made it my job to become one of the best at that because I hated sucking at it because I'm like, that's a staple in 10th Planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a staple in 10th Planet. Like, I'm like, we should be good at this. And I'm like, why do I suck at it? And I was like, well, I'm going to do everything in my powers to be able to get good at it. And to be honest, that's the reason why I kept on practicing, because I was like the only move I would always get when I was like coming up, it was like Kimuras from everywhere. I was like Kimura this, Kimura that. Like it was just easy, you know. It's like a big man move. I was bigger than this, so I was a little bit bigger, and I was just like ripping Kimuras. I was like, give me that Kimura, bam. You know what I'm saying? Like I always found myself catching that Kimura, and I'm like, well, what else do you have? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, and then I was like, I would try rubber guard, and I just sucked at it, and that's how I became good at it. That's also how I became good at like that armbar EBI overtime. Like I sucked at that. Like I literally like I remember being at the gym and Eddie's like, hey, I need you to get good at arm bars or spiderweb for EBI overtimes. I was like, oh, I hate arm bars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I just get the back control and try to choke them. If not, I would get good riding time. And he's all like, yeah, I don't like that. He's all like, you need to get good at arm bars because I feel that a lot of people's weaknesses is the arm bars when we go to overtime. And I was like, all right, cool. And I practiced it, and now it's like my number one thing when I'm like in EBI. Like I mastered that move. I became good at it. I became strong at it, and it's like it has won me so many matches that I'm like, man, that was a guy that I shouldn't have beat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's been very, very fun to be able to grow in those moves, and it's like one of those things that it's like. That's what motivates me. That's why you should, sucking at something that's not so bad when it pushes you to that next level, But if you suck at something and you give up on yourself, that's when it becomes a problem.
Very well said, man. Yeah, I really do think like the human spirit craves something to be pursuing. You know what I mean? Like when you see people that, like if you see like the like ultra rich people who become like mega billionaires and they just retire and quit working young, they go crazy, man. Like you got to have something to be pursuing, and I think jiu-jitsu provides such a great avenue for people to be in constant self pursuit. There's so many things, like you said, like you can be a master of one thing in jiu-jitsu, but that means that there's 20 lateral things that you could be trying to perfect that you're not so good at. So that is really awesome.
Yeah, look at Zuckerberg, right? Like he's doing, winning jiu-jitsu tournaments. It's like he doesn't have to do that shit. Like why does he have to do that? Like he's a billionaire, millionaire. Like he doesn't ever have to do jiu-jitsu. He never has to lift a finger if he didn't want to. But he's learning jiu-jitsu. He's out there competing. Like what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like that's awesome. That's pushing yourself to that next level. He has so much to lose, not that much to gain. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is he going to gain by winning a tournament? You know what I'm saying? Like, for him, it's inside, right? It's like something inside that wants to keep on pushing him. To us, we don't care if he wins or loses. Like, we don't even care if he does jiu-jitsu. But damn, that makes it exciting because they're like, even the guys that are rich and famous, it's like they still have some sort of drive, some of those guys, and it's like, it's very cool to see, man.
It is. No, I love it, man. And it's the reason why I've stuck with jiu-jitsu for so long. I think that if it was the kind of thing where you could eventually hit a ceiling, it's like a video game. Like if you play the video game and you've maxed out your character to the point where you can just touch any bad guy that comes near you and you win, it's kind of like, this isn't fun anymore, man. You got to have something that's constantly pushing and challenging you and testing you, So
100%.
Yeah. And obviously with you as a competitor, I mean, that takes that to another level. Like once you get to the point where you're, comfortable going through hardships and overcoming adversity and putting things through trial and error with your game, you get real comfortable in the training room. Eventually that next step can be competition. That's where you can say, okay, now I've got my system, let me test this against other systems out there. Like where do I stand with other people? So you feel that do you feel that even people who don't want to be world champions necessarily, you think competition is pretty important for everybody to dive into at least once?
Not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people can't handle it because of nerves and stuff like that. But it's part of competing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it comes with the territory, and it's very hard for people to actually be able to jump on that and be like, I'm gonna be a competitor, dude. I know people that. I have some of my students that are black belts that have never competed, and they're so good and they're just so technical, and it's like they don't have it in them, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like there's a place for everybody in jiu-jitsu, and I always suggest to my guys, I'm like, dude, try it out. Like it might be something that might push you to that next level. It might be something that you fall in love with. You don't know if you're a competitor until you actually do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I know people that are like, dude, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be a world champion. I'm like, you never even competed before. You don't know what it does. Like it's like you may want to, you may not, but you have to actually try it to be able to understand that, but there's some people that just don't want to. And I always tell my guys, it's like, it's okay if you don't want to compete. It's okay if you don't want to be a world champion. I want you to because I think that you're awesome. Like I think guys that train jiu-jitsu is awesome, and they're doing things that most people in the world would never be able to do. And it's like, man, I see them training, and I'm like, dude, like you have it, and I can see it, and like, but sometimes it's just not in them, and it's okay. It's okay not to be able, not to want to, right? But at the end of the day, it's like if you really want to, and like even a little bit, dude, I say go try it, right? Even if it's a little bit inching your body, you're like, I kind of want to, but I don't know. dude, everybody gets nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in the world gets nervous, man. I get nervous as hell. Like I remember doing Submission Underground, and me and Amanda Lowens, which is a great competitor. She's out in 10th Planet, Portland. We were talking, and we're like, man, this is the worst. Like, this is the worst feeling. But as soon as you get into the cage, and as soon as you, like, ready, go, it all goes away. You don't even think about it no more. Like the nerves that you thought you had are eliminated. Like, it's only that before you go in there, and once you, like, close the doors or they say ready, go, like, you go into, like, fight mode. Like, it doesn't even matter no more. Like, you're a competitor whether you want to or not. It's already time, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like just that first initial, like you're just waiting, you're in the back, you're waiting, you're just like, man, why did I sign up for this? There's a lot of things, there's always things playing in your head, you know? Maybe some people are like, hell no, I love this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe, but dude, I've always been nervous, and when I'm nervous, I feel it's because it matters to me, you know what I'm saying? It actually matters to me. Like, you're nervous because you want to perform a certain way, you want to make sure that you do well, you want to make sure that you don't disappoint nobody, which is never the case, but it's still in the back of your head, you know, I don't want to disappoint nobody and stuff like that. I don't want to disappoint my teammates, my coaches, my loved ones, whoever's watching, you know, it's like that's always in the back of your head. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It's like win or lose. It's like a 50-50 chance. Like, there's one person that's going to win and one person that's going to lose. You know what I'm saying? But it's like everybody gets those nerves, but I get them because it matters that much to me. It really does. Like for me, competing and being out there, it's like this is the best thing that I've ever done in my life. And it's the most exciting. And it's the thing that means the most to me that I've done. You know, alongside breakdancing, to be honest, like this is probably a little bit more meaningful, you know, and it's like, and just being out there, it really does matter, and that's why I get so nervous, because I want to make sure that I do my best, you know.
Yeah, that's beautifully stated, man. Yeah, and that resonates so well with me too, because, like, dude, every time I've ever competed, from the time I sign up until the time that they call my name at the tournament, I'm just anxiety, bro. But it's so true. Like, once they call your name and your toes touch the mat, then it's just like, okay, I'm home. Like, I'm good.
Yeah. Nothing matters no more. It just goes away, and you're just like in this zone. And you're just like, I'm fighting now. Like, and honestly, you, like, once you go there, you're already in there. Like, go, you know, there's nothing you can do no more. There's nothing you can do no more, you know?
Just do jiu-jitsu, man. Just do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. And just do jiu-jitsu.
I also like what you said there too about how, you know, you build it up so much in your mind, and those emotions feel so powerful because of how much you care. But really, that's all within you. And once you can realize that's all within you, and that, man, your coach is never going to be disappointed in you, as long as you don't behave like an asshole at the tournament or something.
For sure.
If you're being a good sport and you're being, you know, you're doing jiu-jitsu well, man, no one's going to be disappointed in you. Secondly, no one else in the tournament. This took a while for me personally. Is what I always felt so self-conscious about. Oh man, like, everyone in the city is here, like, the whole jiu-jitsu scene and wherever I'm competing is here, and they're judging me and they're going to compare themselves to me, and oh man, I feel self-conscious. Dude, no one gives a shit. Everyone's thinking the exact same thing. Everyone's like, dude, they're thinking about their own jiu-jitsu. They're not thinking about you. You know what I mean? So that's cool that you pointed that out too, because I think that's a compliment.
It's one of those things. Like, it's like I just started like embracing the nerves. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to embrace the nerves. You know what I'm saying? Because it's okay to be nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing something powerful. You know, you're in combat with another person, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're about to, you know, fight another person initially, and it's like she should be nervous, you know. And it's like, how do you deal with that? You embrace it. You take it all in, and you're like, you know what? This is what's gonna happen. You know, you have to embrace it. It's like nobody in that moment deserves to feel that way. Like, you earned to feel that way. You earned to get those nerves. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody in the world has earned that moment. You earned it. Whether you're nervous or you're not, you earned to be there. You signed up, you showed up. It's like, whether, you know, no matter what it is, it's like you earned what's happening right now, whether it's nerves, whether it's hype, whatever it is. So it's like, embrace it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to suck. It's going to be amazing when you're in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I always say, just embrace the nerves, you know?
You know, one of the cool things about being in those high pressure situations like competition is that it's so applicable to the rest of life. Like, I found that facing those kinds of nerves and managing those kinds of anxieties have applied themselves to many other facets of my life. Like, things that would have stressed me out or had me feeling upset before, now I mentally process them a lot better. Have you found that to be the case for you as well?
Yeah, 100%. And it's also how you understand how to control your emotions. Through jujitsu, and like even like I see people like at jiu-jitsu tournaments, like about to get in fights sometimes, or in street fights that like they start pushing each other and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can never put myself in that position like that. Even if I get pushed, like I'd probably walk away just because I understand how to reserve my inner self. I understand how to sit back and just be like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're having a bad day, I'm walking away. Like, I'm not gonna even deal with situations like that. And I feel that jiu-jitsu in itself showed me how to do that in a sense. It showed me how to control literally my emotions, control my inner self, control my inner beast, as people would say. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you don't need to express yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I feel life is much simpler because of jiu-jitsu. Life is a little bit more easy to deal with because of jiu-jitsu, if that makes sense. Again, you know what I'm saying? So it's like through jiu-jitsu, it showed me how to do a lot of different things in that sense.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's beautifully stated, man. That's absolutely, yeah. I think that rings true for a lot of people that start training, man. It really does kind of mellow you out, and it makes you more. It gives you. It takes away the need for you to feel like you have to go out and prove yourself, or prove something to someone else. You develop yourself from the inside so much that you just become a lot more reserved and a stronger character.
Like, to be honest, like growing up, I was never a guy that would walk away from anything. I was the guy that was like, you touch somebody, you're done. Everybody's done. Everybody's getting that. If you touch somebody from my side, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like understanding how to just like, what am I doing? Like, is it really like that important? Like, is this person stepping on this other person's shoe that important for me to, like, you know what I'm saying, bash somebody's faces or getting my face bashed in or anything like that? I'm like, dude, just, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff became just much easier and more zen, and like more zen, like more just easily like applicated, and just a day-to-day life is just much easier, less stressful, more controlled, Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah, well, something I've come to learn is just like, if someone out there, I was kind of very much the same way. Like, if someone said something to me when I was growing up, when I was younger, I felt the need to like to make sure I address it, not let that slide or whatever. And
For sure.
And as an adult, and especially through jiu-jitsu, I've come to mellow out a lot more and realize, that negative energy is for them to carry. That's not for me. That's we're gonna walk away from this, and they're gonna still have that crappy energy with them. I'm going elsewhere.
For sure, life is too good getting upset from things. And there's some things that definitely get frustrating sometimes or annoying, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's not even worth it, not for myself, not for anybody. And it's just, life is easier, smoother, and like what I used to do before is not what I do now. The kind of person I was before is not the kind of person I am now. And the reason why is because jiu-jitsu has created a better version of myself.
Awesome. That's awesome. Richie, I tell you what, man, we've reached about the halfway point of the show here, man. Actually, I don't know if you've done this before. I can't remember if I was doing this last time you were on. It's a game that I play with every guest halfway through the show. The game's called the Pummel. The Pummel is a series of random questions. Some of these have to do with jiu-jitsu. Some of them have nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. It's like a lightning round. So if you want to play the Pummel, I'd love to play this game with you. Oh, we got three contestants here, man. We got three.
Yeah, let's
all right,
go.
Cool. You got a whole stable here. All right. Question one: what's the worst job you ever had?
Worst job? Working for my dad construction. That was the worst thing ever. I hated it. The worst job ever. I worked construction. I worked HVAC. Good paying job and everything like that, but not knowing my dad when I was young until like working with him straight up and him kind of having his mannerisms, I'm like, oh man, I'm so happy. Like, you weren't in my life. It was just like, it was hell. Definitely like one of those things that I felt was unnecessary in my life. And I'm like, if I could do without one thing, which was like working for my dad, even though it gave me good money and stuff like that, I'm like, man, it was the worst thing in the world for me. Just the environment, the way he was towards people, or not necessarily towards people, not like he was mean or nothing, but just like the way he was like, I would never be that way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but I was a jerk at the same time. So kind of played in itself, I guess, but I hated that job. I was like 22 and I was like, never again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then I went through my own path and I was like, I honestly wanted to connect with him, and that's the reason why I started working with him. But then I'm like, I'm happy I didn't connect with him, you know. So
you knew your dad later in life. You're saying, like, you didn't grow up with him.
I knew him when I was little, and then when I was like probably like 5 or 6, and then I didn't really talk to him for a long time. And then when I was older, we kind of would send messages or texts to each other. And then when I was like 21, we started talking. And then when I was 22, I started working with him. When I was 23, I was like, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I only worked with him for like 2-3 years.
Yeah, I could see that being especially hard, just because number one, construction is tough work. It's not fun work.
Sure.
I mean, it's hard work. But then also if you're in a situation like that where it's kind of like a balance between you and your dad, I could see where that would be tough.
For sure.
Have you guys have you remain close to him now, or are you guys pretty much?
No, we're not close, but we're not. I mean, we don't hate each other or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? He had like some health issues and stuff like that. And he lives in Mexico now and stuff like that. But no beef or nothing like that. We just don't talk. He just does his own thing. I do mine. And, you know, he's living his life right now. I'm living mine as well. So
that's awesome, man.
Separated, drifted. I'm happy I got to know him a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm happy that my mom was basically my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, she treated me, she raised me, my brother and my sister to be the people that we are now, you know, and she raised us to be like good peoples and you know, being care for others and just kind of like be looking out for other people as well. So it was definitely like the perfect situation for our lives, and it made us, to be honest, it led us to where we are now.
That's incredible, man. So single moms are superheroes, man, for sure.
Yeah,
your mom was big into like music and stuff and dance too, wasn't she? Was she?
Yeah. My mom was a dancer. She was a dancer. She was a singer as well. She had like, I think like an hour. She did movies. She was like in about 14 films. A lot of them were Spanish films out of Mexico. Nice. She also did like singing tours and stuff like that, like opening up for other bigger singers and stuff like that. She was never like headlining concerts or nothing like that, but she was always like the opener. She would go sing for people and like tour with people and stuff like that. And she was also like a dancer when she was young. She was Miss Los Angeles 3 years in a row, like for beauty pageant. So yeah, she did a lot, and so she always was kind of like artistic and kind of like in that world, you know. So it was very, very inspiring us growing up and knowing that as dancers, you know. It was definitely like, man, my mom used to be a dancer as well, and it's kind of like went along with it. It was very, very cool.
That is awesome. I can definitely see that influence with you. I know you're big into art and obviously breakdancing.
For sure.
So that's super cool, man. Yeah, that's one thing that's been a huge perspective shift for me as a parent is once I started having kids, I started to imagine like, dude, if I was doing this by myself, if I was a single parent, like, holy crap, dude, this would be so, like, it makes you realize like what they go through and like how hard that is.
For sure.
So that's really
definitely like. Yeah. It's a hard you know, role to do, you know. It's like as a single parent, it's very, very hard. I know dads and moms, you know, that they have to do it on their own, and I see how much they like struggle, but at the same time it's like they'll do anything to be able to make it for those kids, you know.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool, man. I could tell how much just in your tone, I could tell how much that your mom means to you. So I want to make sure we give her some shine.
For sure.
What do you think is a secret talent that you have? What's something that you're really good at that people might not know?
Secret talent. I don't know if it's a talent though. So it's like I'm very big on music, so it's like I could remember any like anything that I've listened to. I could tell you the name, I could tell you what artist it was from. I'm very good at like remembering things, like, so it's like patterns, right? That's why I feel like jiu-jitsu was meant for me, man. Yeah. Like if I go down the street like once or twice, I remember that street forever. Like I've been to Greece 3 times, and I could tell you like the streets that I need to go to get to where I want to. Like, I'm like, I've been to the UK. I could go to the UK and a few times, and I'm like, I hardly go there now, right? And I could tell you, I can remember the streets, like me walking to it and how to get to different things. Like I'm pretty good at remembering like patterns and situations. So like music names, movie names, stuff like that. Like Yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
Dude, bro, that's definitely a talent, and I'm jealous, man. I have to write so many things down to remember them. Like with streets and stuff, if I go down them enough, I'll remember them. But bro, the music thing, that's a big one. Like, I can't tell you how many times I have like a song stuck in my head, and sometimes it's not even a song. It's just like it's either a lyric or like. Even harder is like a guitar riff, or like there's a particular guitar riff or something that's stuck in my head. With a lyric, you can Google it, and sometimes you can usually find the song. But if it's like a guitar lick, it's like, damn, what song is that? And then like, what are you supposed to do? Like hum it into Google, like, you know, it goes dun 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 dun. It's like they're never gonna be able to find that song. So that's really cool that you can do that. Yeah, you never lose track.
What were you doing right now? What were you doing? One from Metallica?
Dude, holy shit, that's amazing, dude. That's amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly how it sounded. Dun, 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 dun. Dude, that's incredible. Wow, bro. That's for real a talent. That's seriously a talent. You should be proud of that one, man. Who needs Soundhound when you got Boogie, man? I'm just going to call you, bro. If I forget the name of a song, I'm just going to be like, dude, what is this?
But I have to have heard it, though. But yeah, like, I'm pretty good. And honestly, because of breakdancing, and like you listen to these beats, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, you have to remember the beat, and it's like, because you want to be able to dance and hit the moves on the beat. So it's like, ta, ta, ta. Like, at the top, you have to like do a move, and it makes it more explosive or more exciting, right? So it's like understanding these rhythms and beats, and it's like, okay, cool. And then you start kind of liking certain songs, not necessarily like for breakdancing, but just in general. And you're like, oh, I like this beat. And it's like, well, what is it? And it's like, boom, okay, cool. So now you like, dude, you got to listen to the song. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it makes it easier for me to like kind of like give my music kind of like likings to other people, you know, because people's like, dude, what are you listening to? Like, listen, this, and this right now. What are you listening to? You know, and just kind of like always trading music. You know, I was always that guy, like when internet was like blowing up or whatever, like I was like going on these like forums and getting like all this music just from like random people from like different states or different countries, and just kind of like trading music and you know, like MP3 music and stuff like that online. So yeah.
That's incredible. Dude, bro, I'm definitely going to start trading music. I love music. So I'm definitely going to start trading some stuff, man.
For sure.
That's incredible. You know, it's really interesting what you were saying there about rhythm and the importance of rhythm and movement and things like that. I just interviewed Zoltan Bathory. He's one of the guitarists from Five Finger Death Punch. And he was talking about that. He was talking about how, like, as a musician, it helps him in jiu-jitsu because he feels like he has an understanding of rhythm and pace and things like that. It sounds like that's very much the same with you, too, with you.
For sure. And people like I know people that don't listen to music before competition. Like you know, a lot of people listen to music and they're like vibing out or whatever. Yeah. And I know a lot of people that don't. That I'm like, why don't you listen to music? And they're like, because there's no music playing when you're out there, you know? So it's like, why fake it? Like, I want to be in the same mindset going into that because there's no music while I'm playing. And I'm like, well, I'm the opposite. I'm listening to music all day. Like, music's in my head. Like I'm like, I have to listen to music because like, I'm like, listen to music. Like, even when I'm in there, like there's a beat in my head, and I'm just like, I feel like naturally, like I'm walking around and there's like a beat in my head. Like, I'm like, there's always a soundtrack to my life, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm doing jiu-jitsu, whether I'm walking, whether I'm eating food. I'm like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
that's awesome.
But for me, like it just, growing up, like that's been my life, music, you know, like being a dancer, you always have to like be into the music, be in tune, be in the zone with the music. And it's like, you know, no matter what I do, it became part of my life. And I'm just like, there's always something in my head, even if it's a little, it's a rhythm, it's a beat, it's the way I walk is like, there's still beat, you know what I'm saying? It's still rhythm, you know, like no matter what, like it's always in my head. Music's always in my head, you know?
Incredible. Yeah, you can pause the headphones, but the music doesn't stop. I love it, man. I love
exactly.
That. Yeah. I listen to a lot of different stuff, like on the way to train. I walk to the academy I train at now, so it's like a 10-minute walk. And so I throw on headphones, and then usually when I get there, that song, that rhythm is still there. So I try to listen to stuff that has like a pretty good pace, pretty good rhythm to keep myself kind of awake and feeling good. You know, so that's awesome. Yeah, I love that, dude. We'll definitely start trading music though, for sure. I'll send you over
That'd be
some.
Awesome.
So send me what you're listening to. I'll send you what I'm listening to, for sure.
That'd be awesome, for sure.
What's something you wish you were better at?
Jiu-jitsu.
See, it's funny. I always add that caveat, and that's the one time I didn't, because everyone's going to say jiu-jitsu. Something outside of jiu-jitsu.
All right. What do I wish I was better at? First shooter games.
First shooter games. Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm not good at first shooter. I'm getting into it. Yeah, I'm like good at like wrestling games. I'm good at like fighting games. I'm good at racing games, but I'm not good at first shooter games. So I'm like, man, I really want to get better at that. And it's like I don't practice it enough because I get comfortable playing like the games that I already play.
Yeah.
But I'm like, first shooter, I feel like I'm like, man, I need to get better at that because it's like there's so much people that play it, and I know that it's fun. You know, I watch videos of you know, people playing games and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, that's so fun. Like, I'm like, I wish I was better at that, and I need to get better at that. So I'm gonna make it a thing for this summer to be able to play better first shooter games.
That's awesome. I love it.
And also another thing would be surfing. I think I could catch waves and stuff, but I can't like rip. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't like I there's certain concepts that I don't understand when you're surfing. I just go literally like straight down the line, you know, like I can't cut, I can't do none of that. But I do like going on to the waves and just catching waves. But I need to I want to learn how to like get into waves, you know, like kind of like rip into waves and stuff like that. So that's one thing that also in the summer, hopefully. But I'm a big wimp when it comes down to cold. Like, you know, all these people do like these ice baths and stuff like that. Like, that's not me. Like, put me in a sauna. I'm better off in a sauna than in a, you will never catch me in the ice bath. I'm like, that's not for me. Like, not at all. So being in the West Coast, it's like the water is pretty warm. You know, I mean, pretty cold. I mean, it's pretty cold out here. So I'm like, it's not my thing. So yeah, when I go to Hawaii, I always go surfing. Like, I'll catch a wave or whatever, and then in the summer, like some really hot days, I'll be like, let's go surfing, you know. So
surfing's something I want to get into. My big thing is I'm terrified of sharks. It's like my number one phobia. So like I have to get over that. But I'm kind of over it now. I'm starting to kind of accept the fact that, you know, I'm probably not going to ever get attacked by a shark, especially where I am.
Dude,
so
you do jiu-jitsu, just fucking what the fuck? Like, you're scared of a shark?
I don't feel confident in my spider web or my rear naked choke.
Come
when
on,
it comes to
bro.
a shark, bro. They have those short, stubby. There's not like, where is the neck? Where do I choke the gills? Am I going under the jaw? Like, I don't understand where to attack. But what's your biggest phobia? What's your greatest phobia?
You know, it's kind of hard because it's like heights, but it's like I'm not scared of being high. I'm just scared of being like high at an edge. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind being like super high, but if I'm like looking down and I'm like, oh man, this like really does freak me out. Like being very, very close to the edge, very, very high. Like, you know, like certain rides, like you go to like Knott's Berry Farm. I don't know if you ever been to Knott's Berry Farm or no, but they have one that just goes up and you're kind of sitting up and it just drops, you know, and your legs are dangling. Like, that's very freaky to me. But it's fun. It's fun because I know it's pretty safe. Well, I mean, nothing's very safe nowadays, right? You see these videos online, but right. But yeah, like that kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I know that I'm safe. But if I was ever to like walk like kind of like near the edge of like a building, like that freaks me out. Like people like stand near a mountain and just like hang out and just like look at the view. I'm like, I wouldn't even do that for a picture. Like, not even for a picture. Like, you cannot catch me doing that. Like, it has to be like 3 feet tall and like with some cushion on the bottom, and I'll take that picture. But other than that, like, you don't catch me on these like high things taking pictures and feeling strong about it. Like, I can never go like rock climbing on a mountain or nothing like that. It just too freaks me out. Yeah.
Have you seen those videos of like the people in Russia that like run alongside like and jump from building to it's
yeah.
I guess it's parkour, but it's like,
yeah, it's
not so much that they're doing tricks. It's just that they're running across edges and doing crazy like they're doing like crazy dangerous things, and not so much parkour. You've seen those?
That definitely freaks me out when I watch those videos. Just in general, just watching those videos is kind of like, what the fuck are they doing? You know, like, makes me freak out for sure. And it's like, it's hard to even watch. But yeah, I guess that kind of scenarios is like, nah, it's not for me, you know?
Yeah, those make me sweat when I watch those videos. I'm
for
like,
sure.
The other thing, too, that you mentioned that those rides where it's just like a straight up and down drop, you know? There's been some funny videos online of the operators of those things messing with people before they drop them.
I see those.
It's like, oh, hang on, I didn't buckle you up, and then they just drop it.
Dude, it's the best. It's the best. It's the best. It's the best. It's hilarious.
Oh, man. What do you think is your favorite bad food to eat? What's your favorite junk food?
I'm really big. Oh, well, there's a couple of things. I mean, there's a video going on. My girl put me on front. We were out on the Disney cruise this last weekend.
Okay.
And I was like sitting down in the dark, like double fisting like ice cream. I was like, and then she like put it online, and then everybody is like tagging me in it, and I'm like, damn it, it's pretty sucky like habit that I have. So ice cream, pizza, and just Italian food in general, to be honest. I'm like, you give me some good pasta, some good pizza, man, I'm like eating the whole thing. Like, yeah, those are my bad habit foods. But it's like, I don't really eat a lot of meat, but those three things right there, man, like just the carbs and, oh man, so good.
I mean, dude, my question is, how can you not? How can you not?
How can you not, right? Like,
how can you not?
Dude, like honestly, like, and another advice for me is like Code Red, Mountain Dew Code Red.
Yeah.
Like, I love that shit. Like, like no matter what, like after competition, I'm like, I need to go find me a Code Red. Like, it just makes me so happy. It reminds me of when I was a kid and I was just like drinking my Code Reds, you know what I'm saying? Like with my grilled cheese sandwiches and Code Red. I'm like, get out of my face, you know? Right. So
Super Nintendo and some Code Red, man.
Exactly.
You know what I remembered the other day that I totally forgot about? You remember Surge?
Yeah.
Oh, Surge.
I do remember Surge.
I totally forgot about Surge. I think I think they tried to bring it back not long ago. That's what made me say, oh yeah, dude.
Did it fail or what?
I don't know. I haven't seen it anywhere. Like I haven't seen it, but yeah, Code Red's a pretty good go-to. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? You mentioned ice cream. What flavors do you like?
Man, there's a little bit of everything, but lately for the longest, I've been liking Cherry Garcia. You know what I'm saying? But right now I'm like dabbling into like these random ones that I find like at the store, and I'm just like, that's a weird flavor. I'm gonna get it, and just like delicious. I couldn't tell you what kind, but there's just so much like kind of like fancier ice cream, I would say. The reason why I say it's fancier is because it's more expensive. So, you know what I'm saying? Not because it's necessarily fancier. It just is more expensive, so I'm like, yeah, it's fancy. Yeah. So I'll grab it. I'll look at the box. I'm like, that's a weird flavor. And I'm like, let's do it. And then I'll do it. And it's like amazing. So, yeah, I can't tell you what flavors, but Cherry Garcia is my known flavor that I've been like going to. But there's other ones that I'm like, yeah, that's expensive. I'm just going to try it because I'm going to just eat this fancy ice cream. And then usually it's delicious. So.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, so I live in Sao Paulo now, and there's this ice cream shop that's here that's kind of famous for like their really weird and like experimental flavors they do. My favorite one, bro. It sounds weird as hell, but it's so good. It's tomato and pimenta, so like spicy tomato, and like I got it just because again, how can you not? Like if someone says that,
it's like, weird.
I have to try it now. So but it's one of my favorites. It's really yeah.
Is it sweet?
It's sweet, man. Yeah, it's sweet. You don't really taste a lot of the tomato. It's spicy though. So it's like a sweet, spicy ice cream thing. And then they put like an actual like wafer, like, you know, the waffle cone thing, you know.
For sure.
They have just like a plate of that, like a little disc. So it's not like a cone. They just stick the disc into the ice cream. Then you just kind of scoop it out on the disc and eat it like that. But it's legit. If you're ever down here, man, I'll take you there. It's good.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, they got a whole menu of like really crazy flavors, man. What's something you can't eat no matter what? Like your most hated food?
Black olives.
Black olives.
Yeah, black olives. I cannot any olives, like or green olives either. But I also, it's weird because it's like I'm pescatarian, and a lot of my food that I eat is like it's plant-based, right? Like it's like I do a lot of like, it's vegetarian mostly, but pescatarian because I do eat fish and stuff like that.
Nice.
But I can't do mushrooms. I cannot get into mushrooms like that. The texture of mushrooms kind of like doesn't sit well with me. I just can't do it. Like whether it's like soft or hard, I just cannot do mushrooms. It's just not my thing. And I know people like live for mushrooms. They're like, you have to eat mushrooms. You eat basically like vegetarian. And I'm like, I just can't. It's not my thing.
For some people, mushrooms are there's a texture barrier, or there's just the idea that it's a fungus. And then of course there's people that don't like, people that don't like the taste. But I think most common is the texture. It's what you said. I think people
I love shrooms. I don't know why. It's just two different things. Like it's like when I eat it as a meal, it's just not good. When I eat it as like a hallucination, I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like It's a mindset. I don't know. It's just weird.
It depends. I guess it just depends what you're eating it for, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
What do you think was the scariest moment of your life?
Scariest moment of my life. Yeah, so when we were little, we went, literally one of the last times when we were young, my dad tried to like take us fishing, and my friends were like, he's like, I'll take you and all your friends, and we're like, cool. And then there's these railroad tracks that were like, hardly any trains pass through there, but it was like some railroad tracks. But it was like, to get the good fishing, you have to go in the middle of the railroad tracks, but there's like water, right? So it's like you go deep into the middle, and then you fish from there. And it's like a lot of people go fishing there, or used to go fishing there.
But these are like active tracks? Yeah,
but it's like they only the train only passes through the night. Like it's only at nighttime. So it's like during the daytime people go fishing over there and stuff like that. And we're fishing or whatever. And it was like, we don't even like fishing and we don't even know why we're getting taken fishing, but we're like, fuck it, can we take our friends? And they're like, yeah, for sure. And we're fishing, and then out of nowhere, like fucking a train's coming, and we're like, what the fuck? And then we're like running, and I'm like, well, the best way to not get hit by the train is to hold on to the rails on the side. So we're like above the rails and holding on. We should have honestly jumped into the water, and we're holding on, and then the fucking train's coming, and then it passes, and like it's shooting rocks at us, and it's like this close to me, like I can fucking feel the wind. I can feel, if I'm like this, I'll take my arm off. So I'm like fucking tight, and I'm like looking, and then Gio and then one of my friends, Jimmy, they're running still, and we're like, dude, get to the fucking fence. And then they're like running, and then we don't see them no more, and they're not on the fence. So we're like, what the fuck happened? So I'm like, the train's still going, but we don't see our friend Gio, my brother, or my friend, and we're like, they're fucking dead, dude. And we're like holding on, and then I guess they ran, and then at the end they jumped, but they jumped instead of to the right side, they jumped to the left side, and we're holding on to the right side, so we couldn't see them no more. And then the train passed, and then they're like walking up the hill, because they managed to get to the end, and they jumped to the side.
Damn, dude.
And then I was like, fuck, and we like. And then, like, the train stopped, but it was like a long train, so it stopped, like, once it passed. So we're like, dude, let's get the fuck out of here. Everybody was good, though, of course, but...
Bro, that's scary as hell, dude. Have you ever seen the movie...
Dude, it was nuts.
You ever seen the movie Stand By Me?
Yeah,
it's like the same scene, right?
It's dude, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, that was probably the scariest thing that has ever happened, but, like, we literally thought this Gio and my other friend died, and we're like... what the fuck just happened, man? It was definitely scary, man.
Yeah, you're sitting there, you're just hanging on and getting pelted by rocks, thinking he's gone.
Dude, it was the worst. It was the worst, man. It was the worst. Yeah, and it was like the only like real like memory that I have of my dad when I was young is like me almost getting hit by a train.
Damn, dude. That's cool. Well, man, I'm glad you guys are all okay, man. That's a scary one for sure.
Yeah.
Who do you think is your all-time favorite grappler?
Competition-wise or just in general?
Let's say both. Let's pick one competition and one just general.
I think my favorite competitor that I have watched compete is John Jock. Like, and I know that's cliche because he's like part of my lineage, right?
Dude, he's like legend, dude, legend.
Yeah. And overall, I hate being cheesy, but my brother, like, I feel that his mindset in jiu-jitsu and his competitive aspect and just kind of the way his mindset as a competitor is very, very dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gio has a very good mindset as a competitor and as a coach, and he knows how to put everything together when it's the right time, man. Like he's the best grappler I've ever hand to hand, like just kind of bonded with, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's awesome, like his mindset and just the way he is as a coach. He's helped me grow as a coach and as a competitor in many ways, and it's been very dope for me to be able to help him as a coach as well, like being able to like run some of his camps and stuff like that, and you know, the way he trains is awesome, man. The way he listens is awesome as well. You know what I'm saying? So both eras, right? Like whether it's like me being able to help him as a coach or him helping me as a coach, just to see him just like his mind just kind of like go, you know what I'm saying? It's very, very dope. He's an awesome grappler, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel he's never going to get I know he gets a lot of love, but man, like I wish people could see the way I see him as a grappler, man, and the way I see him on the mat and just coaching and competing and being a good student and all that stuff, just all into one, man. It's like, if people saw that, man, it would be like, they'll be amazed of how great of a grappler he actually is. But like as a competitor, like me, like coming up, seeing a lot of like Jean-Jacques Machado, like footage has been very, very dope as well, man. Like he's such a great competitor, man, and a great person in general. If you've ever meet Jean-Jacques, he's an amazing mentor, amazing person. You know, he has helped me a lot as well, and just like guide me as a competitor, and how has helped me as a competitor. Like I always kind of bounce ideas to him and stuff like that, and it's very dope to have him as a mentor in general, and as a coach, man. Eddie Bravo, second to none, man. His mindset, his creativity, and I know it's cheesy because it's like those are my coaches and those are the people that I'm around, but man, like I can never ask for anything more, you know what I'm saying? Like the way Eddie Bravo thinks as a grappler, you know what I'm saying? The way he's so creative and just so open-minded, and you know, he gives me a lot of feedback to everything that I do. And even it's like, man, that's the reason why I do arm bars. That's the reason why I do rubber guard, you know what I'm saying? Like his creativity has helped me so much as a grappler, student, and a coach as well, man. But yeah, all those three guys, man, like my all-time favorite grappler in general is Gio. My favorite competitor ever is Jean-Jacques, and the best coach I could ever ask for as a grappler is Eddie Bravo for sure.
That's awesome, man. Great answer. Yeah, three excellent names. So I'm a big fan of all three myself. I think it's really cool too that you and Gio ended up under the guidance of Eddie as well. Because like you said, Eddie's you guys have that. You came from that kind of mindset of just being really creative and exploratory with the way that you do things. And I think that Eddie's always been known for that. He's always been known for kind of pushing the boundaries and doing new things. And Jean-Jacques, obviously legendary, man. I had the honor of interviewing him a few years ago. One of the nicest people I met. Yeah, and then Gio, your brother. I always love watching Gio compete, man. Both you and Gio. So that's awesome. Good answers, man. Who do you think is your favorite MMA fighter of all time?
Favorite MMA fighter of all time? Man, I really like Anderson Silva. You know what I'm saying? I really like seeing him as a fighter, man. He's fucking amazing, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anywhere from his Muay Thai to his grappling, man, the stuff that he's done, it's like, he always believed in his jiu-jitsu no matter what. He's always believed in his stand-up no matter what. He believes in his martial arts, and that's a beautiful thing, man. It's hard for everybody to, like, no matter who he went against, he always believed, like, even when he's getting dominated on the ground, he's like, I can submit this guy still. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? As a persona, Shell Simons is fucking second to none, man. Like, I love that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, and I consider him a friend, so it's like very, very cool to like have him as a friend. And I'm like, man, you're like a fucking the man, his persona, the way he and he was a great fighter, man. Amazing fighter as well, you know what I'm saying? Like to be able to fight for a UFC title, it takes a lot, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but man, his persona as a fighter, man, it's like you'll never see that again. I mean, you'll see things like him and stuff like that, and maybe guys that make more money, but he's the one. He's the original one, man.
Yeah, dude, I love Chip. I could literally listen to Chael tell a story about making a sandwich and just be like fully locked in. Like his ability, dude, his ability to tell stories and like, oh man. And then of course as a fighter, he's an incredible wrestler as well, man. He was an incredible athlete, man.
And honestly, like every time there was a time that he was gonna fight, like I was tuned in from all the press medias to everything. I was always tuned in. He made me want to watch MMA. He made me want to sit there and watch him actually, like, promote the fight to weigh-ins to everything. He made me want to watch. I was tuned in 100%.
Yeah, I think he really did set the tone for kind of the importance of having salesmanship within fighting.
Oh, for sure.
Like, man, if you notice, like after him, there's a lot of people that have tried to mimic it. Some people have been good at it, like Conor McGregor's, people like that have been really good at mimicking the showmanship side of that. But man, Chael was something special, man. It's pro
wrestling 101.
It's pro wrestling 101. Exactly. Dude, speaking of pro wrestling, I know you and I are both old school pro wrestling fans, man. You got the Ultimate Warrior tattoo. You and I are both Warrior fans. Yeah. Dude, what you mentioned you like wrestling games. Best wrestling video game ever.
Okay, so there's this game called Rumbleverse, right?
Okay.
That it's not around no more. They literally, me and my brother were talking about it yesterday and how bummed out we are that it's got taken away from us. The game was called Rumbleverse, and it's discontinued. Like literally, they took the server off. There's not in service anymore, and it was only around for like a year, and that's it. And then it won like awards and everything. They just took it out. It was Epic Games. They took it off the server, and you could play it across platforms. So I literally could play against all my friends, whether they were PC, PlayStation, or Xbox.
Oh, wow.
And and it was fucking. So basically, it's like you create your wrestler, right? Different skins and stuff, almost like Fortnite in a sense.
Yeah.
You get shot into this island, you know what I'm saying, a fight island, basically, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you get there and you basically go looting, right? You loot for moves. So basically you get like the move of like switching music, or you get like the stunner, or you get different moves. But that's your right and that's your left, right? But it's like you also could punch and stuff like that. But when you grab them, you could also do your power moves. You could do your power moves as many times as possible. And you also could do it as a group, right? So it's like me, Gio, a couple of my friends, Josh, Michael, like we would go, and like it would be four of us, and we would get dropped into the island, and we would go and we would fight these other basically teams or whatever.
So cool.
And it's like there's literally 40 teams, and at the end there's only one, so it's like a battle royale.
Oh man.
And dude, it made me feel like a fucking, like I was in the 90s playing video games like with my friends. Like that's how it felt. Like it felt like what original Nintendo 64. Like you're just fucking booming it out, you know what I'm saying, at night with your friends. And it was the best game, and they discontinued it. And that was my favorite game that I could probably ever like play. And I was like, man, it's gone now.
Dude,
and I was like,
that sucks. I missed that, man. I never even heard of it. That sucks that I completely missed it.
Like go and literally Google, or not Google, like go on YouTube and go Rumbleverse.
Yeah.
Like dude, it was the best. And I was like, and like yesterday I went on their it's been gone since I believe early March or late February or something like that. If you go on their webpage, people are like, what the, like, please come back. Like we're like, people are like missing this game like crazy. And I'm like, it's sad, but I don't think it's never going to come back. And I'm like,
dude, you got to start a petition, bro. Start a petition. Get the army of Rumbleverse players together, you know?
There's many people still asking for it. And it's like literally like it was only up for a year. They took it down, gave everybody refunds for like, cause it was a free game online. They gave everybody refunds for like the skins they bought and stuff like that. And that was it. Never heard of it. Yeah. Man. So it's like one of those heartbreaks, you know?
That sucks, dude. Yeah, I remember so my brother and I played wrestling games like all through, like all the way back to like really like the NES. Like they had that first WWF WrestleMania and all that.
For sure.
The game changer came when, I guess, PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, when you could start creating characters. I remember like the first one I can remember was WWF Attitude, which is one of the very early PlayStation games, and you could totally customize your guy. You could that was like a game changer. We had all these crazy characters we'd play.
Like I've been playing right now. I'm playing the what is it? The WWE 2K23.
Oh yeah,
with John Cena.
How is that? It's pretty good.
It's fun. Yeah, I like it a lot. I have two characters that are tag team champions right now. They're like running through everybody, but one of them is called Boogeyman, and he's like has this crazy white beard, and another one is called a Curse, and he has like a white mohawk with a crazy white beard, but they're like dope. Sick. So yeah. I've been playing that a lot. I made those characters, and it's like, dude, I play that almost every night right now since Rumbleverse been gone. But yeah, I've been playing that a lot.
Yeah, now it's on like another level because like obviously the graphics and like the depth of what you can do to customize your character, like the tattoos and the specific looks and stuff. And then of course you can play online, so you can put your characters up against other people online.
For
so
sure,
that's like a whole other thing.
Yeah, I have this what is it? This group called the House of Black. You know what I'm saying? So I have kind of like my little crew or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's been very, very cool to like play with that crew. Which I mean, House of Black is sorry, it's what I bit it from, but it's House of Freaks. You know what I'm saying? But House of Black is like House of Black is like AEW. So I kind of got that idea, and I got so it's like House of Freaks, and it's like that's my kind of like my crew or whatever. So it's been very cool. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, no, I definitely I got to pick that game up, man. 'Cause I think the last wrestling game I had was 2K19. I think it had Brock Lesnar was on the front of it,
and it's very cool because like the cool thing about the new one or whatever, you could get like people create like people or whatever, and you get people from like AEW, you get like old school people, and it's like they have their moves, their names, their songs, and you're like, what the fuck? Like you can literally get I literally have Steve Urkel as one of them, like on my game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. Yeah. And then like I said, like AEW, so I have like a lot of those guys from like House of Black like on my crew. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's like that's why I named it like House of Freaks or whatever. And I have like who is it, like the Fiend on my team as well, like, and it's like of course like Malachi Black, which is from Brody, you know what I'm saying, like, so it's like a bunch of people from like real wrestling, and it's like they're part of my team or my stable, you know what I'm saying, they're part of my stable.
That's so
very
funny,
cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that you can like make all these like wacky characters. My brother and I used to do this thing where we'd create like friends of ours, you know, and of course it would always be like something, there would always be something funny about, like we had a friend of ours that got he got puked on at a party, and he didn't know, so he had like this big puke spot on the back of his shirt for, like, the whole night, and so we created him in the game. He's got this huge green spot on the back of his shirt. So it's always like we're always having like funny stuff like that. But yeah, those games are so much fun, man. Like the ability to create characters and stuff was a big game changer for wrestling games for sure. Who do you think is your favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero? I always changes, to be honest. It always changes. But I am big on X-Men. So I'm probably I'm big on X-Men. So probably like Wolverine is one of my favorites, of course. But yeah, X-Men has always been like my favorite since I was a kid. You know, it's been kind of like the it's been X-Men since I was a kid. So I think till this day it is. But my favorite superhero always changes depending on who I'm reading about or who you know what I'm saying, just at the moment. But usually probably Wolverine is probably my favorite. He's the most consistent, my favorite, you know what I'm saying? So
dude, did you hear what Disney's doing with the X-Men animated show?
Yeah, they're doing the 97, right? Like they're going hopefully it's fun, hopefully it's good, and hopefully it like takes you back to those like, you know, old days of when we were kids, being able to watch, you know. And I think that's what they're doing it for. They're trying to get like I feel like Disney Plus is really like, it's not necessarily kids based, but it's like a lot of it, you know, it is. So they're trying to like, you know, be more for like kind of like the older, like, you know, big kid kind of version of
the
what
parents,
we used to like. Yeah.
That's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool back when my kids are old enough to, like, my daughter's about to be 4. My son's like a year and a half. So I don't know like how much they'll be into that kind of stuff. But man, it'll be really cool to like relive all that with them when they're old enough to see it. For sure.
And that's what I do. Like even now, like I'll put on like old wrestling matches, like Royal Rumble matches, or like in your house, like you know what I'm saying, like pay-per-views, like in your house, like how we used to have it or whatever. And then I'll play it and we'll watch it together. And he does get into it, man. It's pretty cool to see how much he gets into it, you know?
Yeah, dude, I've been showing my son Rey Mysterio matches. There's like a match between Rey Mysterio and Psychosis, and I just found it on YouTube randomly, so we were watching it, and dude, he was all into it. He was just like he's like watching and pointing and stuff. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's Rey Mysterio.
That's very cool. Very cool, man.
That's cool being able to like relive stuff like that. I think that's a dope move.
100%.
It's a dope move by Disney too, to understand that. To like, man, if you
for sure. You know, they have to keep on adding for different, you know, audiences, and definitely like the parents, they know that if they get us, they're gonna keep us for their kids as well, you know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
I think it's very smart.
Exactly. If you could have a superpower, what would you choose?
Superpower. It'll probably be. Damn, that's a good one. Man, that's a good one. I wouldn't say flying. Saying especially being so high up, I don't like flying.
For sure. You don't like being on the edge. Yeah.
Nah.
There is no edge. You're just floating. Yeah,
there's no
good.
edge. You're just floating. Yeah. Probably telekinesis.
Telekinesis is a good one, dude.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
I feel like that's an underrated choice, man. There's been a couple other people that have picked that one on the show, and I'm always happy to hear that one because, dude, it's one that you could totally use for a lot of different things.
For sure. Yeah, I think that'll be it. That's nothing like crazy, like strength or nothing like that. Like Jiu-Jitsu already gives you some sort of like strength, mental edge would be like getting into like telekinesis stuff, so.
You're sweeping the hell out of people with some telekinesis, bro.
For sure.
And final question for the Pummel game, Richie. If a zombie apocalypse breaks out right now, what's the first thing you do?
Get to my roof. I don't know. Get my family, take them to the roof. Steal a fucking big ass truck and just, I don't know. Yeah, I think like having a big ass truck, like just run over all these zombies, get into the next place. I don't know. That's a good one.
That's a good.
What would yours be?
Mine has always been to immediately gather my crew, right, which is my family, my friends that are capable, and take over a Costco, lock down a Costco. Because then you're stuck. Because then you're in there, dude. It's a big square box. So there's one way in and one way out. Because you can't get in there without your little membership card. So it's easy to secure, and then it's filled with everything you need to last you for like a year at least. Dry foods.
There's a lot of aisles though. Yeah,
but if you can lock down the exterior pretty well. You know what I mean? Because it's a box. It's a big box.
It is.
You'd have to lock down the receiving doors and I guess any emergency exits. But other than that, it's one way in and one way out.
You definitely have to have a crew.
You gotta have a crew.
You have to have a crew. You cannot run that place by yourself.
No, because raiders for sure are coming. They're going to come. They're gonna,
everybody's going to try to get in there.
Everyone's coming. Yeah, so you got to get on the roofs. You have to find roof access. You got to have snipers up top. You got to lock it down. But I think the first person to lock down a Costco would be doing okay.
You have to have a lot of guns. You have to have more guns. You have to have more guns than they do.
That's true. That's really, or at least more ammunition. You need a lot of ammunition.
Yeah. Because people are coming for you.
People are coming.
They're coming for you.
They're
coming for that throne.
The danger wouldn't be so much the zombies because you could use barbed wire and barricades and stuff to keep them out. It's the people that can think and use guns and find their way in. They're the ones you got to defend against. So it's like the raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I like your idea though, dude. Get big truck and take to the highway and clear through and get out. That's smart too. You can get out.
But that's also very, very risky though. So I like the Costco thing, man.
Costco, all right, dude. You're officially in my Costco crew, bro.
I'm knocking on your door, bro.
No need. I'm gonna call you. We're gonna have your own access code. You're getting in, bro. You're good.
I'll drive in my big ass truck over
there. Exactly. Yeah. It's like, bro, bring your big rig. We're good.
Yeah.
Dude. Well, Richie, that was the final question for the Pummel game. Congratulations, you win. You got your double underhooks. So, man, I wanted to pick your brain a little bit on some technique before we go, man. So what do you think are some of your top tips for people new to using rubber guard who want to use it well? What are some important details? What are some mistakes to avoid?
Creating an angle, and I feel there's a lot of people that don't need to, but especially if you're a little bit newer and you're trying to establish yourself as a rubber guard player, get in an angle. Don't be flat on your back. Flat on your back creates it so you have to use a lot of flexibility. If you want to use less flexibility, if you're not as flexible, create an angle. You know what I'm saying? I feel that's the best way to be able to do rubber guard. I feel flat on your back, you're kind of putting too much pressure on your legs. That's why you see a lot of people like blow out their their knees that are not that flexible because they're literally trying to pull their leg to their face. It's very hard to do when you're not that flexible. So creating an angle and being able to establish your angle before you start using rubber guard, I feel is the best way, especially being a new grappler.
Yeah, That's great advice, man. You know, there's something else I always enjoy about watching you use your rubber guard, man. You seem to have a very defined like funneling that you use to get people into submission. Sure. So you start with controlling the position, then you can see yourself inching towards what you want to go towards. What are your thoughts on that? Like, what are you thinking when you're playing rubber guard to funnel people into the submissions you want to go for?
For me, the main thing is always being able to control their shoulder, right? Making sure that I'm trapping the shoulder so they just can't pull their arm out. So being able to establish their shoulder by me hugging the knee. And then the next step would be flipping the leg over the head, right? Which is Kung Fu, you know what I'm saying? And flipping the leg. Once I do that, I know that I'm already kind of like, you know, on my way to first, you know, like that's always kind of like my main focus is, right? Trap the shoulder, flip the leg over. Now I'm good. I could hold on to there, you know, I could control the position as long as I want. And then they'll start making mistakes to be able to get into my submissions. To be honest, like all I had to do is just literally control there. They'll make the mistakes that take me to whatever submission I need to go to.
I like that. Yeah, it's a really good mindset, dude. Yeah, and that's true for a lot of jiu-jitsu, man. Like a lot of times, if you can use a funneling system, if you can play the position correctly, a lot of times they'll walk right into it because you're eliminating their choices. You only leave on the table what you want them to take. So that's really cool, man. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. You know, rubber guard's obviously a great position to slow things down as well. Like it's a great way to gain control over your opponent. What are some of the best control options you like to use to really like hit the brakes on your opponent?
To make them slow down, literally is just once I whip that leg over, I have to make sure that I'm framing their shoulders, right? Keeping their shoulders kind of underneath my chest, you know? So it's like keeping their shoulders. So it's like once I start bringing this leg up right here, like it doesn't matter as long as they're underneath and not smashing me. So it's like once I control here, so basically my blade will be on their shoulder so they can't drive further. And it's basically like, it's basically locking your own limbs, right? So it's like locking my arm and making sure they can't smash me, right? So it's like just being able to like literally stuck, right? It's almost like when you're controlling the hips and your arms are locked out, it's the same thing, right? But just locking my shoulders so it can't drive into my face. It'll be literally here. And if you are weak, they'll start pushing into you, right? But just locking it so they can't push any further than that. Little things like that will help you control and slow down things. But to be honest, anytime you have somebody in guard, it's slowing them down. So even just me having them in full guard, it will do its work. But once I start kind of throwing my leg over, it'll start slowing them down enough. So it's like I can start working on where to go next for my submissions.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I really like that. Now, speaking of where to go next, like, what are some of your favorite places to transition to from rubber guard if your opponent defends well? Like, what are some good follow-up options that you like to do if you decide not to stay there?
You know, a lot of the times when you go, you could always take it to omoplata. Omoplata is always the funnel to like when it starts going bad. You know what I'm saying? You're like, well, I can take them to an omoplata and then control the position and start control and attacking the shoulder, right? But then the next option, if you're slow enough, they're gonna roll through. So it's always gonna lead to either a leg lock when they roll through, or it's always gonna lead into side control, right? So it's like you have those two options. So no matter what, at the end of the day, it's like you have those kind of like way to go. Also an arm bar, you know what I'm saying, depending on how far you're into the move. But yeah, every time they roll, you always have control of the legs, so you can start attacking the legs, or you also have the side control that leads you straight to where you want. Sometimes the arm stays behind, so it leaves like a bicep slicer, or you could just clear it and get to a proper side control. I don't know if that...
No, that's awesome. No, I can totally see the omoplata being like a really big staple of the rubber guard. I mean, it seems like it's right there. Yeah, and then that leads you to a whole different series of things that omoplatas lead to. So that's super cool, man. For the people out there listening, if you guys want to get better at the rubber guard, Boogie actually has an awesome instructional with us here at BJJ Fanatics. It's called Rubber Guard Concepts from Half Guard. So if you guys play half guard or Z guard and you want to add more depth to these positions, the rubber guard is a great option, and Richie breaks it down really, really well for you. You can learn it from one of the best in the world doing it here at BJJFanatics.com. So I definitely recommend you guys checking out his instructional. Richie, man, in closing, what are some of your major goals for 2023, man? What are some things you hope to accomplish this year?
To be honest, in this year, my biggest goals are to be able to give the same opportunities to my students that I had in competition, you know what I'm saying? Like get them to a level that they're able to establish yourself as high level grapplers. You know, I have a lot of brown, purple, brown, and black belts that are competing at a very high level. And my main thing is to get them to a level that they're able to have the same opportunities that I've had, like in competitions, you know what I'm saying? Like EBIs, combat jiu-jitsus, UFC Fight Pass Invitationals, Submission Underground if it was to come back, different things like that, ADCC, all that stuff. I want them to be able to do as good as they can so they could get the same opportunities that I got, because I feel that that's the best thing that I could do. I've been there before. I know what they need to do. So it's like I think that I could guide them the same way for them to be able to establish themselves and create a future for themselves in jiu-jitsu.
That's incredible, man. That's one of my favorite things to hear, man. I love hearing people giving back to the next generation, and man, just congrats to everything you've done, man. Honestly, it's so cool seeing your school blown up the way that it has, and seeing your students doing so well, and seeing you out there actively competing still. I really commend you for all of it, man. So congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that a lot, man.
Of course, bro. Well, folks, unfortunately, we're fresh out of time. Boogie, it's always a blast talking with you, bro. I appreciate you coming back for the third time to chop it up with me here. Man, you're welcome back on the show anytime. It's always a great time. I appreciate you being so generous with your knowledge and your time, and I'd love to do it again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. Always a pleasure talking to you, and can't wait to come back one day sooner than later.
Awesome, buddy. I really appreciate that. For anyone out there that wants to keep up with Boogie, it's real easy to do so. He's most active on Instagram. His Instagram handle is Boogeyman_TFS. That's the best place to follow him. You can keep up with seminars, competitions, events, anything he's got going on. He's also got the website 10thplanetsandiego.com. If you guys are ever traveling through San Diego, man, his academy is one of the places you've got to drop into. Super cool group of people, really welcoming environment, and top tier jiu-jitsu. So drop in and train with them if you're able to. If you can't travel to San Diego, you can learn from Boogie anywhere in the world. As we mentioned, he's got a great instructional with us here at BJJ Fanatics. He's got a couple of them, actually. The one we discussed in depth today was rubber guard concepts from half guard, which is a great starting point if you're trying to add rubber guard into your game. So definitely check that out. And that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please stay tuned for the next episode of the BJJ Fanatics podcast.